So what is that over the mountain straight ahead there?
Oh, it's a star of some sort. Let's see what.
And you don't see the blinking red light?
No, the rest of us didn't see that blinking red light, but the cameras did. What did we catch on camera this time? Come along with us on this investigation. We were at the Great Basin National Park in May of 2025 with some friends to do a skywatch in their famous dark skies. We filmed for an hour and 20 minutes, and we aren't sure what we caught on this skywatch, but we caught something. Not just one something, but two. We were using our 2-camera setup to film the dark skies with our A7S2 cameras, and we took the GPS coordinates for both cameras, calculating the distance using our GPS distance tool. They were separated by 118 feet. Both cameras were looking north and had Polaris centered in the viewfinder. We had a relatively calm night skywatching, enjoying satellites and shooting stars, and occasionally our friend would ask again about the red dot, but we couldn't see it. Some people can see further into the infrared spectrum than others, and that is what we think she had going on. So when we got back to headquarters, we overlaid the images as we do when we have 2 cameras going, and we got a pretty big surprise. There was a red dot, just like she said she saw, but not only that, it was in each camera. We looked at both cameras to see if there was a defect and ruled that out as both cameras saw something, and we'd never seen this red light before or since on any of our skywatches. Check out the Skywatch playlist and see for yourself. The red light took up slightly more area on the screen than the pinpoint light of the stars, meaning that there was more than 1 pixel involved. Nothing was lining up to quickly dismiss this as a camera glitch. We use 2 cameras so that if we see something in both, we can get its position in the frame with respect to the background stars and use that to measure altitude and distance away from us. But these 2 images weren't lining up, which led us to only one possible conclusion. It wasn't the same object. There were 2 distinct red lights, and if there were 2, and neither camera could see the other camera's red dot, then those red lights were not in the cone of convergence of the cameras. So what does that mean? Well, with a little triangle math, we can calculate the only area where they could be. And quite frankly, those calculations were frightening. Math says that those lights were only a few hundred feet away and between 100 and 150 feet up. So they were close. Closer than the length of a football field. What? Was something watching us watch them? Nothing was making any sense with this. We watched all 80 minutes of the footage to see if it moved, and it didn't. If it was a drone, it was quiet and stable. It wasn't in the first 10 to 12 minutes of the footage, but we start filming as soon as we can after sunset, and the first set of videos usually shows a real darkening as the sun sinks further beyond the horizon. It wasn't a laser light as there was no line of light from it to the point on the screen. We can only film in 20-minute increments due to the limitations of the camera. But one time before John hit reset of the recording, he jiggled the camera a little bit, and the light didn't move, even though the background stars did. Now he's thinking this is a camera glitch. So he tests the same camera in a completely dark setting, and we see a red pixel blob. Well, that red light is very possibly a camera glitch. However, we haven't seen it before or since in any of our recordings, so we'll have to research that and watch out for it in all future filmings. But the red dot in the other camera? It didn't behave the same way when he reset those recordings, but the camera didn't jiggle either. So where the camera glitch is probably the most likely explanation, it still doesn't explain the red light seen by our friend. This is why UFO research can be so confounding. The results of the research can be confusing or even conflicting. But once there's a reasonable, probable possibility, it's probably best to just leave the investigation there. We don't want to waste our time on mundane answers when we know that there are so many bigger things out there to research. And honestly, it's a more comforting conclusion than that there was a silent red-lit craft watching us from just a few hundred feet away. It doesn't explain everything, but it does explain enough to debunk this set of videos as recording a camera glitch in a dark sky. Sigh. Onward to the next Skywatch. Thanks for going on this investigation with us. We are UFO-Track, and we do many Skywatch investigations like this. Subscribe to see them all. We've caught some fascinating things on camera. If you want to become part of our UFO-Track network, you can purchase a detector, one of our UFO Sense boxes, or just become a member at patreon.com/UFO-Track. Our network is the only real-time, rapid response UFO detection network in the world. If that sounds fun to you, come join us. See you there, and keep looking up.